Welcome, everyone. So glad you're joining me for today's explainer. Today, we're unpacking a truly powerful narrative straight from the Unbreakable Drive Hub. We're talking passion, perseverance, and honestly, an absolute refusal to accept defeat. We're going to dive right into Arjun's story and see exactly what it takes to build a literal unbreakable drive.
Let's kick things off with a pretty big question. Does luck bring you to your destination? It's a provocative thought, isn't it? Because, so often when we look at successful people, society's default reaction is just to say, wow, they got lucky. We love to blame the final destination on a roll of the dice, mostly because it kind of excuses our own lack of progress. But as we analyze this narrative today, keep this question right in the back of your mind. We're going to challenge this idea head on and see what actually builds that bridge to your goals.
Okay, moving into Section 1, Arjun of a Small Village. To really understand the incredible heights of Arjun's success, we have to look closely at his starting line. He was born into extreme poverty. His father worked as a farm laborer, and his mom was a domestic helper. And guys, we aren't just talking about a lack of luxury here. We are talking about fundamental day-to-day survival. The financial situation was so dire that the threat of Arjun having to drop out of school entirely, it was this constant, looming shadow over his daily life. Which brings us to Section 2, Arjun's big dreams. Faced with that crushing level of poverty, Arjun's ultimate goal became incredibly clear: to one day free his parents from their relentless, back-breaking labor. He didn't just sit around and daydream about it, though. He built a rigorous, honestly exhausting system. He spent his daylight hours completely dialed into his studies, and then spent his evenings working at a local shop just to help cover those basic household expenses. It's like a high-wire act, right? He's holding the fragile balance of his family's immediate survival in one hand and his own long-term education in the other.
Let's look at Section 3, Failure and People's Taunts.
Now, progress is never a straight line, is it? People in Arjun's community would actually look at him and say things like, "Poor people don't dream big." I mean, can you imagine? You're carrying the weight of your family's survival, grinding day and night, only to have society tell you to lower your expectations. It's such a toxic taunt meant to just keep people in their place. But instead of letting those harsh words break him, Arjun weaponized them. He took every single ounce of that negativity and transformed it into rocket fuel. For him, surrender was literally just not an option. But the universe doesn't just hand you a win just because you have a thick skin. Arjun failed. And actually, not just once. He failed multiple times during exam season. He experienced deep, crushing disappointment. And it's absolutely crucial that we pause and acknowledge this right here. This journey wasn't magic. There were dark days where those endless evening shifts and the daylight studying just didn't translate into a passing grade, and he felt totally defeated. So how did he bounce back from hitting rock bottom? Well, he completely reprogrammed his mindset with a daily mantra: today's struggle will become tomorrow's success. Every single morning, he repeated this to himself. He reframed his current pain not as a permanent dead end, but as the active, necessary ingredient for his future. And honestly, that specific shift in perspective, that is exactly what made his drive unbreakable.
And that leads us to Section 4, Success and Parents' Pride.
As you can see, Arjun's progression was anything but easy. It started in a childhood defined by poverty, moved into this relentless daily routine of struggle and study, and hit a massive brick wall with those multiple exam failures. But because he refused to stop at that wall, years later his monumental effort finally paid off. He pushed through the setbacks and ultimately secured a fantastic, high-level job at a major company. The impact of that was huge. In a house where there was once a terrifying daily struggle just to put 2 meals on the table, there was now overwhelming joy. Arjun accomplished exactly what he set out to do on day one. He freed his parents. They shed tears of absolute pride, realizing their son hadn't just changed his own life, he had completely rewritten his family's destiny.
Bringing us to our final part, Section 5, Your Destination, Your Hard Work.
So what does this all mean for us? Let's break down the core philosophy from the Unbreakable Drive Hub. Luck might give you chances, sure, or occasionally open a door, but reaching your final destination, that requires hard work. Luck won't walk you down the path, and it certainly won't carry you when you fail your exams multiple times. If your dreams are big, like pulling your family out of generational poverty, your effort has to be equally massive. You just cannot have a $1 million dream with a minimum wage work ethic. I want to leave you with a real thought provoker today. Are you ready to stand firm until the end? Remember, Victory always belongs to the person who stays in the fight until the very last bell rings. Arjun stood firm through poverty, exhaustion, cruel taunts, and crushing failures. Whatever your destination is, take a page right out of his book. Embrace the struggle today so you can build your success tomorrow. What will your unbreakable drive look like? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep that drive alive, and I'll catch you in the next one.